What's up guys? Jeremy the Machine Scott here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about leptin and weight loss, because a lot of times we try to make an attempt to lose weight or lose body fat and we fail at the diets. Why do we fail? Is it just willpower? Maybe. Could be willpower, but there could be some other things involved. There's much more to it than just you have no willpower, you're weak. You need to have more self-discipline. That's why you can't lose weight. It's not always about that. There's some other things involved, and that's what I want to talk about today. But before we dive into it, make sure you click right there down below. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, and let's get to it. So as I was saying, many people believe that weight loss is just about less calories and willpower. Is that true? Maybe not. Let's discuss it. You cannot ignore the fact that there is a hormone called leptin involved in weight loss. There is something called leptin resistance. And leptin resistance is a thing. It's never talked about, and it's not talked about enough, and it's always ignored. It's not always just about willpower. Leptin resistance is one of the leading drivers to getting obese, to gaining excess body fat, to not being able to stick to a diet. What is leptin? Leptin is a hormone that is produced by your body's fat cells. Leptin is a hormone in your body that tells your brain when you have enough fat stored that you don't need to eat anymore and that you don't really need to burn any more calories. Leptin's main role is regulating how much fat you have stored in your body. But there's something that's broken in the mechanism that's supposed to stop us from overeating. That is why some of us are becoming obese. Leptin is produced by your body fat cells. The more body fat that you have, the more leptin that your fat cells are producing. So leptin is a signal that's supposed to keep your body from becoming too obese. So if you have a lot of body fat cells, your leptin levels are very high. Your leptin sends a signal to the brain that tells you that you already have enough fat stored, it's time to stop eating. Low levels of leptin make your leptin levels go down, and that sends signals to your brain and tells you that you need to eat more. That's why when you're on a pre-contest diet, when you're dieting, when you're losing weight, when you're taking in a restricted amount of calories, that's why you're so freaking hungry and all you can think about is food. Sometimes you're so hungry that you can't concentrate and you can't do anything, and you keep looking at the clock and looking at the watch and just thinking about your next meal. That's all you care about is food. Okay? You're starving, you're craving everything. You're craving chocolate, you're craving donuts, you're craving KFC, you're craving French fries, you're craving biscuits. That's why, because your leptin levels are so low when you're on a diet, because you're getting shredded. That's why your cravings are out of control. And that's why when you go into this bulking phase after your diet and your body fat levels start to go up, you get into this phase where you don't even want to look at food. You don't want to even think about a cheat meal. All you want to think about is skipping a meal because you're tired of eating, because you're force feeding all those calories down. And your body's sending out leptin signals, and your body's trying to tell your brain, hey, that's enough. I think we're good on the food. But you're trying to do something else. You're trying to maybe get up to the next weight class or trying to add a few more pounds of muscle. So you're in a caloric surplus. But your fat cells are sending out a lot of leptin and telling your brain that, hey, we're good. So that's why bulking up is hard, just like dieting is hard as well. When you eat, your body fat levels go up, making your leptin levels go up. Let's get into leptin resistance. What is leptin resistance? People who are obese have a lot of body fat stored in their fat cells. People who are obese have a lot of body fat in their fat cells. We all have fat cells, but when you're obese, you have a lot of body fat stored inside of those fat cells. People who are obese have very high levels of leptin. Given the way that leptin works, you would think that somebody who's obese having a high level of leptin in their body would limit their food intake. However, that's not always true. Their leptin signaling may not work, so something is going on with their hormones. Leptin resistance could be one of the main biological contributors to obesity. When your brain is not getting that leptin signal, your brain tells you to eat more. Even though you already have a lot of body fat stored in those fat cells, your brain keeps telling you to eat more. that the food that you're eating is not enough. That is called leptin resistance. That leptin signal that you're supposed to be getting is not registering to the brain. Okay, we have plenty of body fat. We have plenty of stored energy. That's what body fat is, it's stored energy. When you go into a caloric surplus, calories are energy. So when we go into a caloric surplus, those are calories that we didn't get used and it gets stored. That's body fat, stored energy. Just like when we go into a caloric deficit, we have to get rid of that stored energy and burn it up and use it as energy. Eating more and exercising less, which is something that puts you into a caloric surplus, that's not necessarily the underlying cause of weight gain. The underlying cause of weight gain could be leptin resistance, a hormonal defect. Trying to overcome that leptin-driven starvation signal that your fat cells are sending to your brain feels almost nearly impossible if you have leptin resistance. If you don't have leptin resistance, willpower and self-discipline can get you to lower body fat levels. It can get you that six-pack. It can help you to lose some inches off your waistline. Reducing fat mass leads to a significant reduction in leptin levels, but your brain doesn't necessarily reverse its leptin resistance at that point. When leptin goes down, this leads to hunger, increased appetite, reduced motivation to exercise, and a decreased number of calories burned at rest. So you're burning less calories. You don't really feel like exercising and you feel like eating more. Your brain then thinks that you're starving. Then it initiates powerful mechanisms to regain that weight back that you already lost. However, there are some studies on several mechanisms behind leptin resistance. So we need to pay attention to that. Inflammation. Eating the wrong foods can cause inflammation. That's why it's very important to eat the correct foods and eat correctly and avoid foods that cause inflammation. Now that's a whole nother topic. We'll get into that later. Right now, we're focusing on leptin and weight loss. Most of these factors are amplified by obesity. Another thing that leads to leptin resistance is having high levels of leptin to begin with. So it's like a vicious cycle. How do you know if you have high levels of leptin? Go look in the mirror, assess your physique. If you have a lot of body fat, you probably most likely do have high levels of leptin. You can reduce diet-induced inflammation. That's one way to help to start to get your leptin levels down. Focusing on changing your lifestyle. So overall, changing your lifestyle. Healthy habits is crappy sleep. So if you don't sleep good, your leptin levels are gonna go up. So if you're not sleeping good, if you're eating bad foods that are causing a lot of inflammation, and then you're gaining excess body fat, and then you don't know why you're gaining excess body fat, but you keep eating crappy foods and saying, why am I so hungry? The more crappy foods you're eating, the hungrier you're getting, the worse your sleep is, the hungrier you're getting. All these bad lifestyle habits, these make your leptin levels go up, and you keep gaining weight, and you keep gaining excess body fat. And then you go on a keto diet and try to lose the weight off, and then yo-yo dieting. You eventually go back because you have made your body develop leptin resistance by all your bad lifestyle habits. So you have to change your lifestyle and you have to change your habits. And you have to eat the right foods. Avoid processed foods. That's one thing that you can do to make your body more sensitive to leptin. Eat soluble fiber. Exercise. Work out. Do strength training. Do cardio. This can help reduce leptin resistance. Lower your triglycerides. The best way to lower your triglycerides is to drop your carbohydrate intake down a little bit. Eat protein. Eating more protein has been shown to cause improvements with leptin sensitivity. So make sure you eat more protein. So basically, make long-term lifestyle changes that help improve your overall quality of life. Let's get sensitive to leptin and let's get healthy. Leptin resistance is one of the main reasons that people gain so much weight and have a hard time getting the weight off and keeping it off. So obesity is not necessarily caused from laziness, lack of willpower, lack of self-discipline. Not necessarily, not all the time. Sometimes it is, but not all the time. There's some other forces that are strongly involved and hormones that are strongly involved. It's the way that we eat, the foods that we're eating. You're eating the wrong foods. So just make better choices. Change your lifestyle. Changing your lifestyle does take a little bit of willpower. So if you can have the willpower to change your lifestyle, then you can start to get your body to become more sensitive to leptin. So that way, when your body says, hey, we're too fat, we're getting full, let's eat less. That kind of communication is gonna happen inside your body. It's gonna help you to lose weight and be at a healthier weight and enjoy your life more. So bottom line, you have to eat healthier foods and you have to eat right foods and you gotta make better choices. Until next time, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. Comment below, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions regarding leptin. Make sure you stay tuned for my next video and we're gonna talk about ghrelin.